Well, and I think so many times parents and step-parents, they focus so much on the relationship with the child that they forget that, a good cordial relationship with the other bio parent can be freeing.
To just show that you want to be there for them and show that you care, That was a big thing for me, is like knowing someone cared about me, it was a nice feeling, and it would be easier to, get along with them.
Your blended family has a 100% chance of success when you do it God's way.
We are Blended Kingdom Families, and we want to provide biblical resources to heal and restore families with a message of hope for the next generation.
Let's get after it.
Hey guys, welcome back to the BKF podcast. We're excited to be with you today. My normal, beautiful wife is not here and has been replaced with this shaggy-haired 17-year-old who is anxious to get away from his parents and go to college soon. So Michael is here with me. Before we get started, take an opportunity, like, share, comment, leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you, especially on this episode, because this is going to be a little different.
It's going to be good.
We're gonna get into some weeds here. So, Michael, we've been doing a series about step-parent-stepchild bonding. Mm-hmm. We've done 2 series, so if you haven't yet watched those, go back to the last 2 previous weeks and jump on those. So we talked about the do's, we talked about the don'ts. Did you know that there's a rule book for step-parents?
I did not know that.
We have a rule book. Really? We have a rule book. We have like guidelines. Everything is designed so that, you and I can get along.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So a lot of preparation goes into that. But I know Michael and I, so we have been together for almost 10 years, really over 10 years from the time.
More than half my life, yeah.
More than half your life. So I met you when you were 6, and I could tell you some stories. Yeah, a lot of stories. One of my favorite stories about Michael when he was little is when we first got married. When we would go to sleep, Michael would army crawl into the bedroom and then sleep at the bottom of the bed. So in the morning, I would wake up and I would step on you.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, I'd wake up and all of a sudden I'd step down and Michael was right below me. So let's talk about, what was that like for you? Like, let's just kind of reflect over the last 10 years. Like, think about like when it started, the middle, kind of where it is now. What was it like to you to have a step parent?
At first it can be really weird because I'm like, who is this guy? Like,
yeah.
Because I being already 6 years old, I'd already kind of lived. It wasn't like, from birth. So it was a little weird, not knowing who you were, having to meet you, and then, you're living with me all of a sudden. It's like, I barely know this guy. This is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But, over time, I think, it's something that you learn to love. Like, you were really cool. You let me play Call of Duty.
Well, yeah, let's tell that bad story. On the don'ts, the funny story is when Vanessa and I were dating, Michael and Vanessa came up and we were at my apartment, and Vanessa, I don't know what had happened. Vanessa had gone to do something, and I had a PlayStation, and I think you weren't 6 at the time. I think you were more like 7 or 8, maybe 8, and you were like, I want to play this game, and I'm like, sure, go ahead. I didn't know that an 8-year-old wasn't supposed to play Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. That was my very greenness as a parent. Yeah. So you kind of took advantage of that.
I think took advantage of that. Yeah.
I think you knew that wasn't supposed to happen, but you were like, I think I can play. And so So throughout the last 10 years, we've had our ups and downs. Yeah. So we've had some challenging times, and we've had some really high times. I know that, looking at some of the good things is, I know right from the start, we bonded over sports. Mm-hmm. So sports has always been our constant. I've coached Michael in I don't know how many, different, seasons of football. So probably starting around 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade. And I've been to every dust field to watch you play football. How important was that to you?
It was really cool.
Yeah.
To always be able to look up the stands and see you there.
Yeah.
To me, it showed you cared.
Yeah.
Which, being young and growing up and learning, different things, it was really nice, and made me feel loved.
Well, it wasn't just me. It was me, your mom, and a lot of times me, your mom, your dad, and your stepmom. Yeah. So, you not only have me to compare to, you also have a stepmom as well, who I know has been in your life really longer than I have even. So you've seen bonding on both sides with a stepmom and a stepdad. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of look at that relationship and just kind of say, hey, this is where I noticed similarities. This is maybe where I noticed differences, having a stepmom and a stepdad?
It's a little different, stepmom and stepdad, because, moms aren't really into certain things that stepdads are. We're like fishing or, sports or something like that. And stepmoms are more like, let's go shopping or something.
Let's go shopping, make sure you brush your teeth. As you look back, what do you think are some of the more important things step parents can do to bond with stepchildren?
I think first coming into their life, especially doing the things like sports and like stuff like that, to just show that you want to be there for them and show that you care. That was a big thing for me, is like knowing someone cared about me. It was a nice feeling, and it would be easier to get along with them or do certain things with them. But if I felt like they just didn't really care, it was kind of like
I'm with you. You know that I supported you playing baseball, and you know how much I don't like baseball. Yeah.
It was pretty boring.
Yeah, baseball is my no offense against the baseball players out there. I know a lot of parents are like, "Hey, this is life here," but baseball just wasn't my thing. So I was kind of happy when you're like, "Hey, I think I'm going to give up baseball and focus on football." that was kind of fun. I think another concept is, your dad and I have always had a decent relationship. We've always got along. We've always been able to communicate. In fact, we've coached together many times. What was that like for you to watch, basically your two dads interact?
It was really, I would say, heartwarming, because it didn't feel like, being in a blended family and being the kid, in the middle, it kind of felt like there's a division, and it really felt like being able to see you and my dad come together and coach me that season of baseball, it really felt like there wasn't that division anymore. And, it was like I could be cool here and there.
Yeah.
It was a really nice,
kind of giving you freedom to do that.
Yeah, it was just a nice feeling.
Well, and I think so many times parents and step-parents, they focus so much on the relationship with the child that they forget that, a good cordial relationship with the other bio-parent can be freeing for you. Because I would assume, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but there's a lot of pressure there to perform, to respond, to do the different things with all these. You have 4 different parents. So how do you manage the pressure of performing for all of them?
Try to eliminate the pressure if you can. Because a lot of times, you were never really like, you need to do good in football, or, my dad really wasn't either. But I would just go back to y'all getting along. It was just it took a lot of that pressure off that itself. And, being able to
yeah, no, I understand.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
You get to be a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the hardest thing about being in a blended family is a lot of times you're forced, your hands kind of forced in a way to maybe act a certain way or not do a certain thing, where you don't really have freedoms to be like, dude, I'm just a kid, and I'm just going to do my thing.
Right.
So I understand that. Now let's talk about, now that you're older. So you're 17, you're about to be 18, which is insane to me. Now that you're older, what do you see as the advantages as you're getting ready to go to college? Where do you see that as, hey, listen, I'm glad that I've had, good relationship with all 4 of my parents. Right. How are you going to manage the different stress that you're going to have? Because again, as you're on your own, you can kind of have your own schedule. Yeah. How are you going to manage that?
Well, I'd say, the advantages would be the support as you get older, especially going to college and, going away from home and being on my own. The support from you and my stepmom and my dad and my mom all together is, it's amazing. And, having to deal with, my own agenda and schedule, whose house am I going to go for Christmas and stuff like that. That can definitely be tough, and I'm not sure I figured that out yet. But
so now you don't get told what to do; you have to
get
decide.
To choose. Yeah, it's your decision.
And how you let other people fit into your life,
right?
Which is a very big transition.
It is
from this absolute rigorous schedule that you've been, really subject to for all your life.
Yeah.
So that's got to be different.
It's freeing, but it's not in the same way.
Huh. That'll be interesting. And hopefully, through this interview and, this podcast, what our hope is that parents and bio parents and step parents, you're looking at this from the eyes of, a child who's gone through it. And I'm excited. I know Blended Kingdom Teens has been a project of yours since its inception this year, and it's gained a lot of traction, and it's really just about encouraging teens as they walk in blended families and as they're, dealing with their pressures and dealing with, the complexities that they deal with.
Right.
So if you're in this mode and you're kind of curious about this, check out BKT and make sure you're passing that along to your kiddos. Michael, is there any pieces of advice that you'd give step parents? Things that you'd say, hey, focus on this.
One thing I would say that, like I said, you did very well was just showed that you loved me by the things that you did. It doesn't have to be like, just showing up to sports games and stuff, but you were always constantly like, hey, I love you, right? No matter what, I'm always going to be there for you. And that was really encouraging, because like I said, it was new to me. And even from the start, you were always there for me,
Well, I know that, and also your stepmom's been very similar.
Yeah,
She's wonderful, and she's done great things and loved you from diapers on.
Yeah.
So I think all of that kind of goes to say that you may not experience as step parents the victories every day,
right.
But it's definitely worth it in the end. So I'm excited for your future. I'm excited for what you're going to accomplish in your life. I'm excited for what God's going to do through you. So stay tuned. Maybe we can get Michael to come back on the podcast as a college kid. As he explores his own way. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So hopefully, we're waiting for acceptance,
Yeah.
but hopefully Abilene Christian is in the future, and we're going to be having a good time there. So, guys, hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with Michael and just kind of picking his brain a little bit. Guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you again next week. You guys have a wonderful day.
Bye, guys.
Hey guys, so glad you were here with us today, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode.
And you can find more resources from Blended Kingdom Families at blendedkingdomfamilies.com. Join us again next time as we hang out with more amazing podcast guests. And remember, nothing will be impossible with God.